Well, Turkey's destination marketing is taking a new turn, so you may wonder which USPs will be important in the future. How does Turkey view Germany and other important regions, and how will it implement its new vision? We will hear that in a few moments from the guest of our next panel, hosted by Hüseyin Baraner, Foreign Operations Representative of the Turkish Association of Travel Agents. Welcome on stage. Hi there. Let's have a voting question first.
Yes.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you have this little white voting device attached to your seats. So please grab it now. I'm going to ask you a question in a moment.
Okay.
And you can choose the answer. So can I have the question now, please? What is your opinion on the destination Turkey? 1, Turkey will soon return to its former strength as a travel destination. 2, Turkey will eventually find its way back to its old form as a travel destination. Or 3, Turkey will not find its way back to its old strength as a travel destination. And please vote now. All right, so what do you think? What do you think? 1? Yeah.
I said this thousands of times.
Yeah. We'll see. You were right. You were right.
Okay.
Okay, and I guess we hear more about this in this panel now, right?
This is our topic.
Well then, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Meine sehr verehrten
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear colleagues, and representatives of the German international and the domestic Turkish press as well. Here, once again, we are looking forward to a very interesting day because what we're talking about is a very interesting country which has now been present at ITB, supporting ITB for 50 years. That's half a century. And we've grown up with ITB over this time. Today, for Turkey, we have got old friends, but new ideas. And we'll start right away because the great friends of Turkey are joining us on the stage now, because we will start with Mr. Dietmar Gunz, CEO of FTI. Please, Dietmar Gunz, join me. He knows Turkey for more than 40 years, and he's been taking millions of guests to Turkey over that time. And perhaps the biggest and best-known Turkish tour operator in not just Germany, but Europe, Öger Tours. We have with us Göktaş-Rosati, who is the managing director of Öger Tours. She is also somebody who's grown with Turkey in her career. She's experienced the highs and the lows. Mr. Osman Ayik is next. He's the president of the Turkish Hotel Federation, and he represents about 2,400 hotels in Turkey. Coming from Anatolia himself, please join us on the stage. And he himself is also the owner of a very well-known resort facility in Kelma. Then I'll come to Mr. Günter Ihlau. Mr. Ihlau is somebody who's been thinking along with Turkey because he's known the country for over 45 years. He's worked for a major tour operator for over 45 years, and in this time he's taken many new ideas into Turkey, serialized them, and in Europe and worldwide he was able to attract new customers to his new ideas, and Turkey will always remain grateful to him. Günter Ihlau, today member of the Foreign Committee ERPA. And then lastly, Mr. Irfan Önal, he's from our Ministry for Culture and Tourism, where he is responsible for the many foreign offices run by the Turkish ministry, which are in over 5 continents, in all 5 continents, the speaker probably means. He is the one who develops new things for a new Turkey. So I think everybody can be quite relaxed. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, time is scarce. We've only got 45 minutes from now, so let's start straight away. I will ask one of my colleagues, somebody who, as I've said when introducing him, has been traveling on behalf of Turkey for over 45 years, working for one of the major companies, somebody who's been represented all over the world in many different tourism organizations, very well networked, somebody who's been helping developing global tourism, somebody who knows about the history of global tourism. But today, he is going to speak specifically on our behalf in Turkey and on the area which he has specialized in, the new global ideas of cultural tourism, of city tourism. And he is somebody who can recommend the best products for these ideas. So, Günter, you have the floor. Thank you very much, dear Hüseyin. I know Turkey as a tourist destination and indeed started 40 years ago, the Kushadati at that time, cultural tourism, study tours. I mean, you gave us facts and figures for that, Hüseyin. At that time, that was the focus of the business. 95% of all trips at that time were cultural trips. Just imagine this, 40 years ago. Today, this has changed completely. Today, obviously, the beach holiday is one of the backbones of tourism for Turkey, and that's fine. But sadly, cultural tourism has diminished significantly. So we have to think about rejuvenating that, because a destination which only has a monoculture in tourism terms always runs the danger of getting into rather troubled waters. So to diversify is always a good idea. And of course, we all know that the hinterland of Turkey, the countryside, the fantastic history, the grand heritage, the fantastic excavations, the archaeological sites is a touristic treasure which is worthwhile exploring. That doesn't mean that the beach holidays to lose importance. Certainly not. Don't misunderstand me. That is and will remain the backbone of tourism, the tourism industry in Turkey. But what I'm concerned with is we need to try to also develop other areas of tourism, other segments of that market. And cultural tourism is one part of that. In Turkey, culture is so rich. I don't know whether you've read the book written in the last few months by an English author called The Light from the East. But if you know that book, you will understand to what an amazing extent the whole culture of Europe has been characterized by the cultures arising from Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the ancient cultures and civilizations of that area, which still has so many treasures which we sadly often don't know enough about. I went to the Islam department of one of the museums here in Berlin, and Islamic art is something I can really recommend you. There you really see literally the light from the East. And then you can see the great treasures that the Pergamon Museum in Berlin is currently showcasing. So apart from just going to enjoy swimming and the beach, strengthen cultural tourism and get into other types of tourism as well, into those segments that are the natural result of demography. We have older tourists now. We're all growing older, and that means tourists are growing older. And the share of grey-haired tourists, as we call it, is also increasing. So what we're talking about is to build up sort of age-friendly destinations. And that also is one of the areas where Turkey has a great potential, because that's like a treasure trove which has yet to be discovered. And that could well be linked with cultural tourism. And one last word on that. This segment, cultural tourism, would also be very important in a time which is politically somewhat tense. And that helps to build bridges between the cultures. Thank you for that. I would like to move over straight away to Ms. Rosati. And as I said, she is also part of Turkish history. She is from Turkey and has really known Turkish tourism from childhood on, and she knows Anatolia very well. And Öger Tours, the company that she is the managing director of, is of course a company very well known for its activities with Turkey. After all, they've been around for 45 years, and they've always been developing fantastic new products, particularly for the German market as well. Öger Tours, are you planning anything new for cultural trips, for example? Do you have any new products for all of Anatolia? Special new hotels, new events for young people, perhaps, or as Mr. Ihlau said, age-friendly destinations where you can have age-friendly tours as well. I mean, after all, Turkey is predestined to do well at that. So please tell us. Thank you very much. Thank you also, Günter, Ihlau, for the introduction, and thank you, Hüseyin, for your words of appreciation. Turkey, marketing Turkey with all its rich diversity and to communicate it to people is really what we are doing for us. We are the main tour operator for Turkey. We've been looking back to more than 45 years. I mean, it's 49. Next year we're going to celebrate our 50th anniversary. And obviously we're planning a great many things there, particularly also as far as cultural trips is concerned. We have been offering that for over 30 years, actually. So we do try to promote Turkey in all its diversity. We have Istanbul, we have special experience trips covering all of Turkey. And of course, we are always keen on getting new products into the market and getting people's interested in Turkey, and I'm very happy that this year Turkey seems to be recovering as a destination. People are interested in visiting Turkey again, and they have the feeling, yes, I want to discover that. More fascination has emerged with Turkey again, so we're very happy, and that will encourage us to continue offering just those trips. We have new products every year, by the way. This year, we have particularly devoted attention to the smaller, more family-oriented hotels, family-run businesses on the Aegean coast in particular. They've been newly introduced into our portfolio. Sort of, as I say, family-run hotels which cater to the individual tourists. And we also have more for the disabled. We've measured everything. What is it that the disabled need? Does everything work? So we can offer barrier-free holidays as well. And these are all things that help us and to really promote Turkey in all its beauty. The culinary experience of Turkey is one of these subjects we always talk about, because Turkish cuisine is not only rich, it's also, I think, the best cuisine in the world. Being Turkish, of course, I feel obliged to make sure that people can experience that. And it's always interesting also to promote places that aren't so much in focus. I mean, obviously the biggest volume is still sun and beach holidays. That's very important. But we have to link it up so that people have a chance to get to know the culture of the country as well. And to do that while enjoying a beach holiday, or have the culture trip first and then while sunning themselves on the beach, remember what the culture is like. That's also one of our obligations. Because this is so important for my country, I would like to ask one more question, then we move over to Mr. Dietmar Gunz. Way back in my days, most of the holidaymakers from Germany did a round trip through the country first. Then they extended it by a beach holiday in Antalya or whatever else. And virtually all of them, after one of these round trips, extended to a week or two. That was the standard almost. If we have new products, new ideas, maybe new investments, maybe with the help of the Turkish Tourism and Culture Ministry, can we go back to this sort of habit? Do you see a chance for that? Yes, I do. Is that for me? Yes, it was a question addressed to you. Yes, I do think we can do this. We were always in favor of this idea, and we still are. I mean, the awareness and the marketing underpinning for that is very important. We still have a focus on just what you said, and I was very happy that in the Hall of Turkey this year we saw the Trojan horse, because it is the year of Troy. And cultural issues are really pushed forward. Amadukin is one of perhaps the most beautiful destinations that we are offering. We've always done press trips, for example, there. And we can link it all up with, extending the holiday to a beach holiday. That's very much our objective. That's what we try to get to. And if we all work on that, I think, definitely it's doable. Thank you. And that brings me to Mr. Dietmar Gunz. Mr. Gunz, at the moment in Turkey, you are enjoying a very good reputation. I've asked some important tourism companies and people, do they know Dietmar Gunz? Everybody is speaking very highly of you, because they say this man, particularly in the last very difficult years, this man has really fought for us, and we're very grateful to him. And I think you've got the doors are open for you in Turkey. Will you use this opportunity so that you go away from just Antalya? I mean, Antalya and the coast, but will you move forward into will you dare to go into Anatolia? If you dare do that, the Turks will love you even more than if you just stay with the beach holidays where it's nice and warm. Do you have any such ideas, any plans, also from your Turkey department? New suggestions, new proposals, ideas? Is there anything in the pipeline, or are you thinking about developing new products for Turkey? Hotels, for example? Well, that's a very difficult question, actually, because it's so difficult to give you a simple answer. I think Turkey doesn't need huge innovations, because Turkey today is a country which has a very mature industry, which has really capable people, which has an extraordinary versatility in its medium-sized businesses and industry. The products that you are talking about are products which have always been there. We as a company, we have more than 2,000 people working in Turkey. And of course, we have a vital interest in Turkey, but of course we carefully weigh the pros and cons. It's all there for any holidaymaker. The products are still there. I think we all fine-tune things a bit. Try to provide more content for the guests, that they experience more. But I think the crucial component, if you like, when we're talking about innovation or the future, maybe it's a bit of a grey area, but what is future, what is innovation? Where do the two meet or separate in this very mature industry? But the crux is really that we have to make sure that people will still get to Turkey, that Turkey will remain an attractive destination throughout the year, and that whatever is on offer all the time. And I think the market will automatically do enough, because we're all trying to attract customers, quite obviously. And we try to make sure that we offer the right product. It could be a holiday. It could be the year of Troy, celebrating Troy. It could be culinary delights. It could be sporting issues. The whole thing of spa wellness in the winter time is going to be interesting, especially when we're talking senior citizens, the best ages. They're going to be very interested in that. But we generally all try in Turkey to offer a very interesting, diverse offer for people in cultural terms, in culinary terms, in holiday terms. I think all of us, whether the Turkish partners or the operators from abroad in Turkey, we're all working on this. And I mean, we all have our own structure in Turkey. We've got lots of new ideas. We always say we can do this and do that and fine-tune the other. But Turkey, you see, is a very mature country. It's an excellently developed country already. And they're very creative. This is all true, Mr. Gunz, but one new feature, especially for our participants here, who may not know Turkey as well as you do, and I do. In the last 15 years, as far as infrastructure is concerned, Turkey has changed profoundly. We've now got 56 airports, 30 of which are new-ish, and we have 45 international airports. Over the past 15 years, we've managed to have the airline, which is the biggest airline in the world. Do you remember 20 years ago, what was Turkish Airlines? Virtually nothing. 2 flights for Germany. But today, Turkish Airlines is an airline. When we're looking at direct and stopover destinations, we're going to more than 160 countries. So people expect that from us. If you live in Berlin, you can get to any part in Turkey more quickly than you do in many other parts of Europe. Just look at that. And I mean, that's why In Turkey, questions are getting more and more concrete. People have invested very much in hospitals. In Anatolia, for example, hospitals are a great deal more modern than they are in many European cities. And we now have wonderful roads to all these cities and villages that didn't exist in the past. It was very difficult to get to even the archaeological ruins, the cultural sites that were so important for our work. I mean, I was a tour guide way back too, so all these things were complications, the infrastructure from an operational point of view, but none of this is still a problem. So let me, in this vein, go back to maybe Osman Ayik, who also has a great deal to say when it comes to developing new products, because, as I said, he is in charge of the largest tourism organization in Turkey, 2,400 hotels. If I got the figure wrong, he can correct me, I hope. Even the hotels, the Turkish hotels, have a lot of experience gathered over decades, because some of these hotels have 40 years experience with their products, but they also want to extend. They want to go into Anatolia. They want to try new concepts in different locations. They want to explore the Black Sea coast or go to eastern Anatolia and realize projects there. And to do that, you do need some operational position. So all these issues are very important for us. That's why we're having this meeting today. Mr. Ayik, you've got a finger in every pie. What can you say to what we've been discussing so far? Mr. Ayik?
Thank you to whole audience to being here, and also I would like to thank you, our panelist friends, because they made a very good speech about my country and as a destination. My belief is that first of all we have to change the perception of Turkey. Turkey is not only a package tour destinations, but we have lots of things to offer our clients. Other panelists also mentioned certain things, but as Baraner says, we have done a lot last 40 years. We develop our infrastructures perfectly. You can travel around whole Turkey now because we have lots of international airport everywhere, lots of nice highways everywhere. And also we develop our infrastructure of our cities and historical sites. And we are keep going developing our country. And then we are completely transforming our country in terms of infrastructure and in terms of tourism product. Whenever you go in Turkey, you can see one of international chains in small city of Anatolia. And that means Turkey not only beach holiday destination, that means we have, as Mrs. Rosati says, we have very nice cuisine in Turkey, and some important cities in Eastern Anatolia. First of all, Gaziantep is one of them, and Hatay and Adana is another one. Now they are going to be in the UNESCO list in terms of gastronomy. This is very important. That means in future, like Spain, we are going to create a gastronomy valley in Eastern Anatolia. And also, Aegean coast have different products for gastronomy. And other part of Anatolia, like Hüseyin Bey says, Black Sea coast, East Anatolia, Central Anatolia, we have lots of things. And that means that Turkey is ready to discover. We are inviting all our clients in order to take the time earlier. What we should do is we have to promote all these facilities, all these versatilities, all these diversity of the product to our clients. And for all these things, maybe we need more cooperations for the tour operators, and not only organization for the coastal area, also we have to make new organization to other part of Turkey. And we have to discover and we have to offer all these products to our clients. And I'm sure that Turkey in future, in a couple of years' time, after this transformation, will be the most popular destination, not only beach holidays, also for the individuals also. Because really, my country has lots of historical sites and cultural sites, because so many civilizations passed by Anatolia. All these civilizations left certain things, and we have so many things to see in Turkey. And then we are developing our all kind of museums now. I mean, we have lots of historical and antique sites, and also at the same time we are organizing different events, ethnical events and other things. And that means maybe we have to share all these experience with our tour operators and other friends, and we have to offer all these things in the future. Especially we have to promote these things to our clients and brings different profile of clients to our country, and we are ready for that. And everybody knows it. We are very competitive products in terms of price value. I mean, we are always offering good price value to our clients, and we are always offering best buy for our clients. This is for sure. It's already proved that, I mean. And that's the reason why we are, after a couple of years, lost, and now Turkey is really coming back. You know, we can see from this ITB fair easily, and then we have very positive atmosphere towards our country. Our bookings is going so well, but this is not enough for us. We are ready to offer other facilities of Turkey. The only thing is that we should make a good cooperation with our tour operators, and we have to develop new packages, not only beach sites and internal parts of Turkey. Everybody knows about Cappadocia, Pamukkale, but we have more and more that those sites. Also, you don't hesitate to face our culture and to meet our people, because you all know that Turkish people are so hospitable, and you can easily, I mean, go and knock any door, and then easily you will be, they meet you with nice and warm welcoming everywhere in Anatolia. And we are ready to serve, and we are ready to share our all kind of cultures with our German friends and all European friends. The only thing is that we need more and more cooperation and warm relationship. And as I mentioned, we are keep going investing, especially in hotel business. As Hüseyin says, our federation have now at the moment more than 2,000 member hotels, but I mean every year new products is coming. Also we are developing our concepts. Turkey not only all-inclusive destinations, we have very nice restaurants and different concepts also we can offer. And Mr. Ihlau says all kind of facilities, sport facilities. I don't want to count all of them, but when Turkey is one of the, my opinion, one of the nice golf destinations, for example. In Belek area, we have more than 18 golf courses. They are all on the coast. You never find any place like that in all over the world. This is just only one example. And please, welcome to Turkey.
Thank you. Auch ich möchte für die
Thank you very much. I would also like to mention, in the interest of our dear guests here, that Turkey already has a very broad-based range of goods. We offer more than just the beach holiday. We're not now creating new ideas for Turkey. Turkey is already a leading destination when it comes to health tourism. Please read it up on Google. Quite a detailed article about that. But we started from zero, and we've now got 1.5 million guests with a turnover by now about 4 billion euros. Online, you can read it up. And we've also got to the point where I can see and assume we're doing much better in sports tourism. We've become one of the leading destinations there too. Every year, from beginning of December until the end of February, 3,000 big football teams come to Turkey for a camping holiday. That's almost become a tradition by now. And of course, for many, many years, we've been extremely strong in the hot spring tourism for warm baths. That is something where we have the best water, as many German scientists say, in Pamukkale and Athieon, for example. That's a place north of Antalya. If you ever get there, you would be surprised. It's not just the hotels for these for this spa health tourism, but they're like palaces that were built. If you're a tour operator or a travel agency, take the trouble to look at that. And I could tell you lots more and tell you about many other products that are already traditional in Turkey, but I think that would be up to others.
But there's also the part of creativity, new ideas that are coming online, but we also want to strengthen the existing base. Mr. İrfan Önal is mainly in charge of that chapter in the relevant ministry in Ankara. He looks back at a long career in politics. He's now the general director of the relevant department, as I said, in the ministry, and he closely observes the development globally, because he is in charge also of up to 50 offices that work for the ministry, foreign missions, for example, in New York, Abu Dhabi, and other places. So he knows exactly, or he's very well aware of what goes on, and he works also with Mr. Göktaş-Rosati on new programs. So he is someone who is very knowledgeable. Mr. Önal, what is the government planning, or rather the ministry, for the next 10 years? While walking into the hall, you just said that we will be cutting edge, we will be bringing on cutting edge projects. You now have the floor.
Hüseyin Bey. And also on behalf of Minister of Culture and Tourism, I'd like to thank you all participants of our panel and also guests, because we owe you. Why we owe you, I will tell you now. And last year, I was here in Berlin at ITB, and we were talking about Turkey. Everybody was talking about Turkey, and all we are curious about how destination overcome all obstacles of the year ahead. Because 2016 was awful, and we lost nearly 30% our market within a year. And then last year at ITB, all we were talking about Turkey, and we were all curious about Turkey. Which direction destination would go? It would be okay, or it would be false. So that's the reason we were here last year and the year before with all stakeholders, with the help of public-private partnership. We never get back. And we always stand with Turkey. And that's why I'd like to thank you all, Hüseyin Bey, yourself, and Dietmar, and Songül Hanım, and of course our good friend of Ihlau, because during the hard time, difficult times, all our partners and friends of Turkey stand with Turkey. Mm-hmm. It was very unique and it was very important. And we saw that as the Minister of Culture and Tourism, and also we were aware of that as the country and all stakeholders of tourism industry in Turkey. That's very important because I would like to emphasize that reality before doing my speech about the future vision of tourism. Yes, of course, we lost within a year 30% of our market, but during the year, last year, we get back the same amount of tourist arrivals to destinations. This is the power of the destination, actually. Of course, we can accept that some markets were doing very well, some not as much as some of the markets, but at the end of the year, we get 30% up in terms of the tourist numbers. And we accept that of course, the revenue was not as much as the tourist arrivals during the year, but also everybody, and here in this salon, you know, except that the revenue comeback is not as easy as, you know, the tourist arrivals. But of course, as a country, we invest on this as well. And we got our lessons, especially the last 3 years, because the country had difficult times during the last 3 years, and of course, the tourism industry affected by these obstacles very badly. And as the country and the Minister of Culture and Tourism and also tourism industry decided that we need to look at the tourism industry in a new vision. And we decided to make the new opportunities, open new opportunities for the industry. And the government should back this new vision and the opportunities. That's why we did, after 15 years actually, after 15 years, we did Turkey Tourism Forum last November 2017. With the help of all stakeholders within the country and the government and private sectors and all NGOs and of course academia. Because tourism infrastructure, institutions and the idea set in the beginning of 1980s in the country. And of course, tourism industry in Turkey and the government did very well during the 35 years. And we got the numbers of tourist arrivals and also revenue within the top 10 of the world. And Turkey is one of the biggest tourism industries nowadays. But these obstacles and hesitate years, and of course we can say that crisis last 2-3 years, show that yes, we need to rethink on tourism infrastructure and the tourism vision of the country, because the world is changing and we need to create new institutions to catch up these new dimensions and objectives within the industry. So, of course, as a country, and with the help of all our partners in the outside of the country, we worked very well, and we argued that from the tourism policies to destination management, from the travel technologies to environment, all new things going around nowadays related to tourism and beyond, education, tourist guides, etc. All the subjects we know. And we saw that, yes, we had already 2023 vision of the tourism, which was set in 27, and now 15 years now, and the end of 2023, new vision, we need to update this new vision. And also, we need to consider the 2013 vision of UNWTO, because everybody is talking about now new way of tourism, because tourism is changing. Of course, the country has a lot more to offer, but if you cannot govern this potential, and if you cannot manage this potential, you cannot go beyond. So that's the problem. That was the problem in Turkey during the 3-4 years. And also, this new vision, we are sure that this new vision will open new doors to our partners, to tour operators, the agents, and all stakeholders of the tourism within our partners and within the world. So Turkey has a lot to offer. Turkey has a great potential, and now Turkey is changing its way of business now. Nobody cannot find Turkey as it was before. Of course, the mass tourism, sun, sand, and sea tourism. We are very powerful on that. And this is the main tourism way of, we cannot underrate this type of tourism. What we need to build up the new products, new destinations across the country. Country has a lot to offer, but we need to, study on this and create new institutionals. So
But
we are focused on now.
whenever I visit your office, your table is full with new projects.
Of course.
Delivered by tour operators, by agencies, by people, by banks. So I think you have hundreds of new projects studying on already. Is that right?
Of course. But the outcome of, I would like to emphasize that point, the outcome of this forum, Turkey Tourism Forum, our number one issue is govern the tourism. The management of tourism is important. If you govern the tourism very well, the reality, according to reality of the country, the way of life, and the perfection, you can govern the tourism and you can push the potential of the tourism for you and also for your partners. That's the number one issue now. And we all agreed on to create new institutions for govern the tourism, also the help of private sectors, and we all agreed on. And I believe that with the help of new institutions and with the help of new way of look, Turkey tourism potential will have more product and more destination within the next year, within the 10 next year. So that's the point, I think.
Then allow me to go on to Günter. Ihlau. Herr Ihlau, Sie sind ja...
Mr. Ihlau, you're also a very experienced tour operator, and you've attended some of the largest global and European events. You've been able to, as a tour operator, you need to earn money, obviously, at the end of the day, because it's becoming increasingly risky, obviously, and obviously there. Just a couple of points there. We just have a minute or two left here. What kind of products would you wish to place with regards to Turkey? Would you wish to offer with regards to Turkey? Because obviously, at the end of the day, you need to come up with the right results, right? Well, innovation is always necessary. It's a prerequisite that innovation takes place and is implemented. But it's also important to use the right concepts, because in our sector we very often hear concepts that don't really strike to the core of the issue. That's why what we heard recently about over-tourism, for example, it's not about over-tourism, it's about under-management and under-investment. So if we were to really look at the core issues, then over-tourism wouldn't be an issue at all. Personally, if you want a list of priorities, I would be in favor of really implementing the topic that has already been mentioned, because no country in the world has such ideal conditions as Turkey has. And culture and tourism certainly greatly enhances the experience of tourists, and it is also an intelligent instrument in order to diffuse tension. This country is going to set up a new topic every year. Well, Troy, for example, Heinrich Schliemann was the archaeologist who discovered Troy, and I think that is certainly a brand here in Germany. Working group has been established under my leadership, under the aegis of one of the largest travel or tour organizers in Germany, in order to explore how tourism can be promoted there with all possible criteria. And we decided to look at one area or two areas, several areas, in order to put those concepts to the test. Why couldn't we, for example, you mentioned Afyon earlier on, a destination in Turkey, where you have ideal conditions to implement new concepts. We need to work with experts, both Turkish and German partners, to develop a model that can then also be emulated in other destinations. Önal is already nodding, he approvingly, so he's very much on your side there. Well, of course, at the end of the day, it's about making money. That's what our purpose is, and at the same time also offer an added value to the customer. Ms. Zati, we've known each other for decades now. You're also somebody who's very knowledgeable when it comes to tourism. You have Istanbul, a wonderful cultural heritage there, and the other wonderful cultural sites that exist in and attractions that exist in Turkey. That is something that you've been promoting in Germany for quite a while. But looking at Turkey as a country of culture, and to see that actually holidays on the beach are an extension, really, of that other Turkey, because very often culture was actually only seen as the extension of a holiday on the beach. Or can it also be seen as a separate destination? I do think that it's important to strike the right balance, to show the great diversity of the country. But there's another aspect that is very, very important. We're looking at new target groups that we wish to attract to Turkey. We look at the kind of groups that come to Turkey. We have people who are very loyal to Turkey because they, even in difficult times, continue to come to Turkey. They love Turkey, and they have established a very strong bond there. We have great hotels with great service, a great level of service. So actually, Turkey is a very, very welcoming country. But to market the great diversity of the country is our main task in order to attract more and different groups to Turkey. And then I think that at that point we will see innovation really take hold. As a company, we are 100% subsidiary of Thomas Cook. We're also very interested in innovation and bringing innovation online and making offering innovation. And I think that we also see that Thomas Cook has been able and has been successful also in targeting premium segment of tourists in other areas. And if we could do so in Turkey, then that would be excellent. And I do believe that as a consequence of that, culture and cultural tourism will become very much a focus again. I've been reading for over a year now that globally, but in particular in the Mediterranean, you are toying with new ideas in terms of hotels, these new ideas in terms of hospitality. Do you believe that Turkey is a good place to work in that sense? Because we already have more than 3,000 hotels on the coast. What do you think in terms of new hotels and possible new visions in that field for Turkey? Well, I would not arrogate upon myself to pass judgment here, or to actually have present a vision for Turkey. I mean, there's a great range of visions that already exist there. I mean, we're very active in that area, but to summarize it a bit, given that we're running short of time, but Turkey is what we're doing in Turkey is we try to really make it a 12-month-a-year destination, i.e. Because we offer everything also in addition to everything, or actually aside what, or in addition to what, to the type of offers that exist for beaches and vacations on the beach. So what actually you need to have the right kind of employees to implement those concepts, and in order to have good employees, you need to have them, they need to be available 12 months a year. We're also designing a new hotel in Alajat, will open very soon. Next week we will start flying twice weekly charters to Turkey. So there's quite a lot being done there, yes. I think I'd like to correct this image that it's all about sun and beach. It's not the true. I mean, we fly twice a day to Bodrum, and 99% actually and most people who travel there are not really just interested in sun and beaches. Actually, they're interested in more. And given the flight schedules, Turkey has been suffering a bit in the off-season, so that needs to be corrected. Also, in the interest of the employees, and of course, people who work there are afraid of not being able to get home anymore. So that's why we will do our utmost, and I believe that the entire sector will join the effort in order to offer everything aside of sun and beaches. Thank you, Mr. Gunz, for mentioning this. The last comment will be given by Osman Ayik, and he will probably invite us to Turkey. So you have the final comment here, yes.
What I'd like to say is finally is that we know that every year more than 6 million new clients is coming to Europe. As a country, we always watching the profile of these new tourist people, and also we have to create new products according to their demands. This is very important for us. Because of that, Mr. Ihlau says that we have to be more innovative when we are creating our products. And also, we have to use digital area more and more as a Turkish hoteliers and Turkish tourism industry. This will be our next aim, and we will watch up all the time the new profiles of clients, because their demands is so important. If you avoid their demands, that means you will not survive. And we have very dynamic product in Turkey, very dynamic and very flexible investors in Turkey. That means we will always be update for our clients. Please welcome to our country. You are most welcome all the time.
Das war's für heute. Ich hoffe, dass wir uns nächstes Jahr wieder
That's all for today. I look forward to meeting you again next year and having a session next year on Turkey.
Already start in about 5 minutes with the next session on smart destinations. See you there.